You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV Survivor After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV Survivor After Show.
Oh my gosh, we're back. Hi everybody, welcome to AfterBuzz Survivor Recap. I am your host, Jerri Manthey, and I am accompanied by the lovely and talented Justin Walter.
Whoa, thank you. Jerri is really loud in my ear. Can we turn her down a little bit? How do I do that?
Me loud? How does it feel, Justin?
Justin, a taste of my own medicine.
Justin
You're number 2 on the
headache.
compressor out there, Justin.
Yeah, Justin has a little bit of a headache tonight, so maybe my voice.
You know what?
Feel louder.
The episode gave me a headache tonight. Like, I literally got a headache from watching tonight's episode, and I think it was because if out of, let's say, it's how many, 49 or 41 minutes of television with the commercials and stuff? I'm taking
44.
a guess.
I think
44, whatever.
Yeah.
I would think that we had to listen to Tony for probably 80% of that.
That's
and it
enough
just
to give you a headache.
gave me a headache tonight. And usually, I like Tony. He gave me a headache tonight. I'm sorry.
You like Tony usually?
I think he's playing a decent game tonight. Jury's out.
He's something when people get paranoid and just like kind of implode on themselves, and yet they still think that they're totally in charge of everything. It's just annoying to me. Even if it is true, it just annoys me. But he never shut his pie hole.
That's
man.
what I think was annoying for me tonight. Not that I thought some of his strategies that we'll talk about were pretty good,
Yeah.
and he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish, and he did it in a way that was strategic, well thought out, logical, and smart. But the way he talked and the way he did it tonight I took 3 Advil before coming in here. I'm not lying. I did.
Was definitely the defining episode for Tony, I think. And where he stands and how he's running the show and how he handles people and how he handles Survivor, and which is a really annoying, paranoid playing sort of way.
The rest of the season is going to be a free-for-all, which as a viewer, I'm really excited about.
No, that is true.
It is a free-for-all.
We were just saying, like, the alliances this season are ridiculous. Nobody is sticking to any alliance whatsoever. So it's just, it's a total free-for-all.
Makes great television.
It does.
Unpredictable.
Tonight was exhausting. You know, I took like 4 pages.
I know, Jerry said they're right. We could go through an hour of Jerry going over these notes because it was exhausting tonight.
I got like 4 pages of notes. I have
and
no
it's all
idea
about what Tony
I wrote.
did. It's all about what Tony did. And that's the thing.
Tony.
Although Tony was kind of exhausting tonight and gave me a headache, it was all about Tony tonight. All about him.
Think about it. The opening shot of the episode, they go back to camp. Tony knocks down everybody's torches.
It was total foreshadowing.
It was like a setup for the entire episode.
It was. Now that I didn't even put that together right now.
That's because I took notes.
Good job, Jerry. But it was funny how usually they show like the snake eating the rat, or
they showed a panther or something in the woods with like its glowing eyes.
And it was Tony the animal knocking down all the torches, and if we go back, it's probably 6 torches because that's the alliance of 6 he knocked down.
Babe.
I don't know. If it is, I question the post-editing and digital torches that fell.
Yeah, somebody go back and look that up for us, please. It's going to haunt Justin the whole night.
But right away when he blew up at Spencer and Tasha and Jeremiah for voting for him, that was ridiculous. Come on.
My note says, Tony forgets he's playing a game called Survivor. Where people vote for you.
I get you never want to see your name, and I think what he was more upset about clearly was he thinks he's playing this game. I'm an old man who's bald and 40. You don't need to worry about me. I'm not a threat. You're playing a very aggressive game. Clearly, you're a standout threat, and you don't have to be the kingpin in the strength or whatever, but you're a strategic threat. You've been seen as a strategic threat.
Yeah.
So that's what he was more upset about is, oh my gosh, they're onto my game that I'm actually really good at this.
It has nothing to do with being bald.
It has nothing to do with him being bald. And
or in his 40s.
Or a construction worker we found out tonight.
Oh, dear God. Yeah. I have a lot to say about that. You know what? Let's just say it. Here's what I think about that whole thing where Jeff says at the end in Tribal Council, he's like, so what line of work are you in, Tony? He's like, construction, at which point Sarah makes a disgusted face. I'm thinking, dude, you just blew your chances of winning $1 million. Because think about it. All the people that go to the jury are going to talk to Sarah, who is going to let them know that he's been lying.
Talk to LJ, Wu, Jeffra.
They don't know he's a cop.
Yes, he told them all, remember?
No, who?
Yes, after he told them all when he decided to go to the 5. Remember, it was us five before
Right.
Cass. And after Lindsay quit and that all that stuff went down, he told the 5, Jeffra, LJ, Trish, Wu, that he was a cop. Why are you still pretending that you're a the 3
weird.
on the bottom who they don't give a crap if you're a cop, and all they have to do is talk to someone you piss off and find out that you're a cop. It's not a big deal.
Why did he do that? I totally
know.
forgot that he came clean at one point.
He did. So 6 people know he's a cop.
You know what? I think this episode he officially lost his mind. I think that's what happened. It had to have been. Whatever. Yeah, so Tasha and Spencer both said to Tony, they were like, look, dude, all you had to do is come talk to us, and we would have voted with you guys.
We would have voted Morgan out.
Absolutely, 100%. And then I think that really kind of opened a window or a door for Tony to walk through or peek through. And he realized that he could probably go to them if he needed them. Which was very smart on Spencer and Tasha's behalf. I love those two. I want to
really
see those two go to the end.
I think one of them will be in the final 3. I really do.
Man, I hope so.
I really do.
I hope they turn on Tony now.
I'm starting to think Spencer might be in the final 3.
Spencer's playing a great
Which Jeff
game.
Probst, before they went out there in his pre-interview, said there's no chance Spencer has in winning.
Did he? What?
Yeah, and supposedly I've read some interviews that before the show, people really thought Spencer was this like arrogant, like hot-headed kind of frat type guy, which does not translate at all on the season. So it's very interesting that maybe because he was humbled from the very beginning being on the Brains tribe, that's really set the tone of his game, which is good for him if he is in fact that type of person outside of the show, like a cocky guy. I can't imagine Spencer being a cocky guy, but I have read from some articles. I can reveal my sources. Yeah.
Okay, is this somebody that knows him, or was it like...
it seemed like someone online or something that had some inside sources. So it's, interesting. So maybe you believe it or not.
Well, I'm having a hard time believing it.
I mean, I don't believe it either, but if it's true, crazy. But but Jeff Probst, I did, if I'm going crazy...
but that's another story.
I always go crazy. He didn't think Spencer's chances were that great, which is interesting because Spencer's, doing really well.
Yeah, he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Well, take that, Jeff Probst.
Yeah,
Yeah. So basically, Tony was being a bully.
But he's
imploding on himself.
You're in this tight alliance of 6. Who cares that they wrote your name down? Just play it cool. Play it cool. But it's really that pride factor because he's really thinking, I'm playing an amazing game. Nobody's catching on that I'm running the show when clearly everyone sees you're running the show, and that's why they voted for you. So now that is what made this whole shift.
Get over it.
But that's what made this whole shift of, okay, they see I'm running the show. I got to change things up a little bit now.
He reminded me a lot of Russell this episode.
Wow. Wait a minute. Jerry just said Russell.
I know. I have to say it. I was going to refrain from saying the name that should never be said. But, God, I don't even want to give him that much credit. I love Harry Potter. So, I just think that it's so bizarre to see somebody implode on themselves. And it's scary. And he was kind of bullying people and... giving him the crazy eyes. I recognized that right away. I was like, oh, man, not again.
I've been really liking and saying that Trish has been making big moves, and she had a chance this week to kind of out Tony in his lie. But the thing I want to give Tony credit for tonight that we we have to give him credit for, is he had a goal. Let me blindside LJ. How am I going to accomplish this goal? I first need to set up LJ to make it look like he's going after Woo. And then, which was a terrible, sloppy setup.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know if maybe the camera guys didn't get the footage they needed, or if, I mean, it just felt very forced, because the way I saw it go down was Tony, LJ walking through the woods.
Yeah.
Tony says something about Woo maybe having an idol, and then LJ's like, "Whoa, really? You think so? Hey,
should we get him out?
Do you think we should go after him?" I think he even formed it in a question, as in, Tony, you tell me what to do, because LJ forgot he was playing Survivor tonight as well, and trusted Tony.
Well, then Tony said, "Oh, I can't think about going against Woo." That's what I wanted him to say. Now I have an out to get him voted out, because now what Tony's going to justify is, you wanted to get Woo out, so I need to get you before you got my alliance out. But Tony did set up LJ with this false lie that was a terrible lie.
Sloppy.
It was sloppy, but it worked. So I do give Tony that credit, because, I mean, Woo is not good at Survivor. I'm sorry.
I think I have to agree with you.
I mean, you loved Woo, and we loved him for her survival elements and all that sort of stuff, but Woo just is so believable. He's never going to make a move. He is just a pawn. You know, Spencer talks about we can be a pawn. No, you're pretending to be a pawn, and then you'll take off your pawn cloak and be a king or a queen, whereas Woo is a pawn and a pawn and a pawn. You know, so there's my chess analogy.
You know what? I think you just found a really great way to analyze Survivor from now on. It's a total chess thing.
Oh, yeah. Chess, it's a game of chess.
Yeah.
And perception and you know.
Because Woo is a pawn. He seems very weak now. I mean, he's just like, okay, Tony, whatever you need, Tony, tell me what to say.
Wait a minute.
Tony.
You're going to tell me that LJ wants to blindside me? Oh, I'm in. Let's blindside him.
Really? Because
no one's comparing.
I believe everything you say, Tony.
The only person that's comparing stories is Trish. That's the only person tonight who compared stories.
Yeah.
You know? And when you have a tight alliance of 6 and you have 2 of your closest allies, the guy you're in love with and the guy you trust from the beginning, telling you completely opposite stories, you know something's wrong, and you cannot sit down and lie down and let that pass by and hope you're going to stick with the 6. I think what she should have done or could have done was bring those 2 together and say, hey, guys, maybe this did happen, but we didn't see it. But bring those 2 together with her, the 3 of them, separately at the well, wherever, and say, all right, one of you is lying. Why is this lying going on? What is going on? You told me this. You told me this. They're completely opposite stories. What is going on? Not, oh, just calm down, Tony. You misunderstood what LJ said. No.
Yeah. Well, she did say that she had been screwed by Tony before, and she didn't really trust him. Yeah. So that's why she didn't know anything about the LJ vote.
It's it's crazy. Yeah, she didn't know anything about it.
No,
but when
they wouldn't tell her.
But when 2 people in your alliance, if you had your 2 closest allies come up to you, Jerry, and say the exact opposite of what each other said, wouldn't that put up a huge red flag to get them together to talk about it?
Yeah.
Or would you just kind of say, okay, I'll let that go for this week? It's tough to say. It's really tough to say unless you're in it.
It is, but I mean, her main goal was to keep the 6 solid, and then when it's your hand is forced and you have to start eating each other, then let it happen then. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. She probably should have got the 2 of them together and let them go at it.
It's just really fishy when you're 2 of your closest allies in this tight 6 that you say are telling you completely opposite stories,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, let's take a break real quick and go to the Maria Menounos reality show promo piece.
Chasing Maria. Last night I watched, and it was a lot about AfterBuzz TV.
Ooh.
Which was cool. And we have 3 different studios, and Studio C is the one that they focused on last night. They had to build it and all that, and spend a lot of money on this place, and so they get people like us to come in and have fun doing all this. So thank you guys for letting us do that. Chasing Maria on Oxygen.
Yeah, just check it out Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on Oxygen. It's right after Bad Girls Club. You guys should definitely check it out.
Oh, is that the promo
That's
this week?
The promo. It's you go from Bad Girls Club to Maria, who's the nicest, completely opposite of a bad girl club.
Are you talking about the lineup on Oxygen?
It's crazy.
Oh,
it's funny. Yeah. But no, it's really, I mean, if you haven't checked it out, it's fun honestly to check out too if you're interested in AfterBuzz TV, because it's all over.
It's behind the scenes of AfterBuzz.
Behind the scenes of AfterBuzz as well, and seeing how it's what goes down here. They're always wearing the clothes, and you can really tell that they're really invested in AfterBuzz, which is really nice and fun.
I'm still waiting for my AfterBuzz T-shirt.
No, Jerri Tube Top. AfterBuzz buff and Tube Top to Jerri. I want to see Jerri wearing that in here with their hair going crazy. And I am requesting next week, Jerri, your cowboy hat.
Why?
You have done this for how many seasons? And you've never worn the cowboy hat in here.
It's an Australian hat, actually.
It's your Australian hat. That's so iconic.
I know.
And I've never seen you in it.
What? In person?
In person.
Oh, well, maybe
Just
I'll
in
have
my
to do something about
dreams.
that. Your dreams. That's not creepy at all. All right, so back to Survivor on that note.
Yep.
So, let's see. We've got a little
Reward challenge, right?
Well, first, I thought it was great the tree mail.
Oh, yeah.
When everybody gathers around, and then it's like alludes to the fact that it's a big spa day, which is always like it's very enticing when you're out there, and it's true. You know, you're sleeping on bamboo. We're sleeping, air quotes,
Yeah.
and a spa, like dangling that in front of you is like that's a huge reward. Like screw food or anything like that. A spa treatment, massages. Are you kidding me?
I mean, when I was watching those foot rubs, I'll be honest, I was away this weekend. I had Thai food and a foot rub.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God! The foot rubs will put you right out into the universe.
If you're afraid of like massages or foot rubs, I'm telling you, I went to Thailand this past fall. We literally had like a massage every day for $10, and it was amazing.
Wow,
amazing.
$10.
Yeah, it was really cheap. And then foot rubs, go get one. They're good.
Well, here we are. We get to the reward challenge, and it was actually a really cool challenge. They had to take a little ball on a string, throw it up into a basketball hoop, pull down. Beanbags came out. They gathered the beanbags, bounced them off a trampoline into a basket, which I thought was going to take
after throwing them through the tunnel.
Oh yeah, and then the tunnel.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to take forever. But it actually didn't seem to take as long as I thought it was going to.
Yeah, and Tony, the random teams, you had Tony, Spencer, and Jeremiah, who dominated and took the win and took the lead, versus LJ, Trish, Jeffra, and then Tosh, Cass, and Woo.
Yeah, Woo, who did everything for their team.
He was okay.
Yeah, and they lost
Snooze.
badly. So yeah, you and I were both just like, ooh, I really don't want to have to watch Tony, Jeremiah, and
get
Spencer
massages
on a spa reward challenge. I just no. But I tell you what, man, there is no way that a single one of them actually got to relax because Tony never shut up.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I give him credit for using the opportunity to improve and move forward with his strategizing. On the other hand, he started my headache. I think that's where my headache started. Here I am at the spa reward, and all we got is Tony not shutting up. And even when they go into the confessionals of like Spencer explaining what's going on, and they show them sitting there, Tony is just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. And he's just straightforward with them when, you know, you say to them, you know, I want to keep you guys because I may need to move you coming up, and I want to keep you. So when I want to move you, I can move you. I mean, use you. And they're like, okay, we'll be your pawn. You know, it's smart on their part. You want to tell them that. And Jeremiah, you know, he's a little bit like Woo, where I don't think he's like thinking ahead in the game.
No.
He's like, all right, I'll do whatever, Tony. But then I love when Spencer says, you know, I will tell him 100% I'm with them and agree with them, but I don't trust him at all. And I'm like, I'm going to pretend to be the pawn. Where that's where I see Spencer as being a good strategist.
Wearing a pawn cloak.
Wearing a pawn cloak. He is. I'm telling you, Spencer's going to make a move, and he's got that idol. Next week, he can make it. Next week, you're going to have so many disenfranchised players after this week's move.
It's going to be a mess. I hope.
I see. You know who I see? I could almost see Cass going back to Cass and Spencer maybe, or Jeffra and Trish going over to that side. People are going to be going.
Yeah, Jeffra is like a free agent
She just lost LJ, her man.
She made the Woo face tonight.
Woo.
The whoa.
Let's do the woo. The ninja skills.
Oh my God.
But
yeah, I don't know. That the thing that Cass kind of screwed herself by making a big move so early on is that nobody can really trust her. And I don't know. Tonight she said some very poignant
I
things at
loved
Tribal Council.
what she said at Tribal Council.
That completely, I think, put perspective on the game of Survivor in like 2 sentences, which, you know, it's so true. She said, you know, I checked my life at the door.
Yes.
I come in here, I'm like, you know, every day I'm actually battling with myself. Am I a person? Am I a player?
Yeah.
You know I got to do these things, but it's not really who I am, but I'm playing the game of Survivor. Like, you know,
I love it.
It's the power struggle within the player and the person.
She
in
read
Survivor.
the 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah,
she
had to have.
read. She knows it as a lawyer or whatever. But here's the thing: I almost think that, you know, when she's saying all that, you see Sarah and Morgan rolling their eyes. It's, you know, they got
screwed by her.
They're screwed by her.
Yeah.
It's
bitter
bringing
jury
me
right
back
there.
a little bit to bitter jury right there. But it does bring me back a little bit to the. I almost feel like women are at a disadvantage sometimes because when they separate emotion from the game, like Cass has done, they don't get as much credit as when men do it.
No,
like
they
it's
don't.
when Dawn, a couple seasons, we talked about that nonstop. You know, Dawn was a little slop. Cass is very methodical and logic. You know, very like
She's very quiet right now, which is smart.
Very methodical. Where Dawn was doing that, but staying emotional. So that's why she got a lot of criticism. But I think Cass is someone, I think you want to bring Cass to I don't think Cass would have a shot to win this game.
Yeah.
Because I think she made the move so early that people, like you said, won't trust her. And,
Nobody's going to trust her.
But it set the tone where people are making moves left and right because of what Cass did.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely
Chaos
right.
Cass made this a free-for-all voting season.
I think so. She broke the seal of alliances.
She did. Because she went against the classic Survivor mentality of stay with your majority until you have to break it.
Yeah.
She didn't have to break it, but she did.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm just remembering now this whole female perspective of female players, right? You know, you've got the very emotional, powerful player like Dawn, who gets ostracized and beat up at the end for being a biatch when she actually played a great game. Then you've got Cass, who separates her emotion and just plays, you know, logically to win. And then you've got someone like Monica, who played a great game, but at the end was bullied because she wasn't emotional enough. So
It's hard.
To me, it's so unfair. This game is like, it's a direct relation to how people view women in the world, in life. You know, we get you know, criticized if we're emotional, if we're not emotional. We get criticized constantly if we're in a powerful place and we take advantage of that power. But a man in that position is looked at totally different.
I think the X factor in this situation is personality. I think if you look at players like Poverty, if you look at players like Sandra, who are, you know, women who have won the game, you know, they, like Poverty, for example, when she played and won her season, fans versus favorites, when she won, she played a very strategic, you know, Black Widow game.
But she was playing with other women.
But she was playing with other women.
So it's
and,
a little bit different because it's all women at that point.
So the lesson is you got to flirt your way. Or you gotta, you know, be like Sandra, and as long as it's not me. No, I'm just kidding on that. But I think a lot of it does, we can say this whether male or women in gender, but I think a lot of it does come down to the X factor of personality and personality clashes and how they mesh in the game personality-wise. Because I think on the red carpet, you know, was it you on the red carpet for Dawn's season or Ryan?
I was there. No, I was there.
Both of you?
Yeah.
But I think I remember you guys saying that a lot of people didn't get along with Dawn as a person, you know? So I think that, like, even though she was able to separate the game strategically and emotionally, it a lot of times comes down to, do you like this person as a person?
Right.
You know?
And I don't understand why they didn't like her. She's really sweet.
And,
She's
yeah,
a nice
who knows?
person, but it is
And even,
annoying
like, on
to be
this-
around somebody
on
on
this
Survivor who cries all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is very
Well, and
annoying.
on this season, look at Cass. Cass, she seems like a very nice woman and, you know, smart, intelligent. But let's look at another thing. If you want to factor in age, she's an outsider regarding age. She's the oldest woman there, and
Is she?
she's
The oldest person.
I think the oldest woman. Yeah, she's older than Trish, I would think.
I don't know. I don't know. Trish might have that one.
Well, let's
that
just say,
trophy.
regarding age, you know, there's another thing. You look at her with, you know, who knows? There's so many factors. I think we can't say it's a woman, you know.
Well, no, I'm going to say it because every time I've seen a woman at the end, they get criticized for either being too stone cold or being too emotional. It's
Well,
you know
in
what?
season 37, Jerry, when you're in the final 2, we'll see how it goes.
Bring it on, Justin.
All right.
Because I will probably be crying and strong. Whatever it takes. It's $1 million. Okay, so I totally somehow forgot that Spencer has an idol.
Yeah.
Until he actually said it tonight. He was like, oh man, I've got that idol. It's a good thing I had that idol. And I was like, oh shit.
They didn't find a clue at the reward. They didn't find any clues.
Yeah, we were
Weren't
both
any
like, look
clues?
for the clue.
Well,
Look
you
for
did
the
see, if
clue."
you saw Tony, he was like looking at all the napkins and all the things, and there's there's no clue there, and there's been no talk of the secret idol, the Tyler Perry idol. Is anyone ever going to find it? Are they going to give a clue?
Are they going to go look for it randomly just because that's what they always seem to do?
I bet what we'll see is maybe in the Survivor auction, if that comes next week, or when we have the Survivor auction, maybe that'll be one of the things.
You say that like it comes every time.
Well, I'm saying like it could be next week. I'm saying because right now is when that idol would be really good to have. So we might have a reward challenge like the auction or something where you can get a clue to the special idol. And then that clue, as we know from Survivor Clues, we're going to pick it up, and it's basically going to say, go here to find the idol.
There's a pile of rocks under a tree that has 5 roots, and it's 2 steps to your right.
Yeah, short of giving a GPS.
Oh my gosh, I found it. How did that happen?
But I think Spencer and Jeremiah, you know, when you're on the bottom of the totem pole, just be a yes man.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, you know, tonight was like such a flip-flop back and forth all over the place. Who's going to blah, blah, blah. And it was confusing as hell. But I got to tell you, once LJ actually said the words, I feel really comfortable tonight. I was like, oh, no, he's gone.
He's gone.
You can't say that. That's like the one thing. Survivor 101, people never feel comfortable. And if you somewhat feel a tiny bit comfortable, don't say it out loud.
It's the kiss
Murphy's
of death.
Law, man. It's the total Murphy's Law Survivor rule.
It is the torch being snuffed.
Yeah, I feel
so the nail in the coffin. Jerry, I feel really cool.
Did you just take a poo? What was that?
It was the torch blowing up. Because when you feel comfortable, you go home.
Or you take a poo.
And it was, you know, I'm going to give another credit to Tony. The fact that LJ felt so comfortable with Tony. The fact that LJ nonstop throughout the episode was, I got
trust
Tony's
Tony.
back.
He's
I
got
trust
my
Tony.
back. Yeah.
We gave each other idols. The bromance was sealed when we gave each other our idols. He was nonstop about how he trusted Tony.
He forgot he was playing Survivor.
And as much as Tony is a loose cannon crazy man this episode, and people see him as a threat and everything, that was a little Boston Robish to me.
It was.
Where even Tasha, she tried to get LJ to leave the camp just to go talk and strategize.
Total Boston Rob moment.
When LJ sat there, it was like the Boston Rob season when he won, and nobody would even leave camp unless Boston Rob gave them permission to.
Yep.
And it was like very much like, I get LJ's point. Why, give any fuel to, Tony if he's worried? I get it. But go have a conversation. Listen.
Yeah.
He said it. I can listen.
Yeah.
And it really was just kind of like
a
Boston
Tosh
Rob moment to me.
Approached that moment so well. I loved how she just sat there. She kind of like looked around to make sure who could hear her. And she offered it to him as in, I have a proposition for you, and it's a really good one.
I wonder what it would have been.
Well, she said that she was going to try to get LJ to get Jeffra and then go with Spencer and Jeremiah and get rid of Tony.
Yeah.
And this would have been a great moment to do that. They could have totally done it.
But he was blinded by Tony's trust.
Yeah.
That was his downfall. LJ's downfall is his trust in Tony.
Yeah, Survivor, man. You don't forget you're playing Survivor. You can't.
And I gotta give credit to Tony that when people can be effective in making someone feel that they're 100% trustworthy, and then they make those moves, that's the game. That's what's beautiful about the game, Mm-hmm. I mean, it's this alliance. I mean, this 6. I mean,
I love that. Wait, I love that Tasha went off and she said, "He stood me up."
Hashtag stood up. That was great.
It was funny. They just showed her like with her hands on her hips in the jungle, just like.
That was
He
great.
stood me up.
It was
like
so
it was
good.
a date or something.
He did. He stood her up. He ate his rice alone.
Yes, he did. He just stood there, sat there like nothing was going on.
Yeah. I wish he would have.
At least listened. I mean, he should have. I mean, it's easy for us to say because we knew what was going on.
We knew the whole time.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, then look at it. It's just like it's just all about Tony. I mean, then you have Tony talking to Wu, and Wu 100% believing him right away and willing to backstab LJ. Then Tony talks to Trish, and Trish hears the complete opposite of LJ, and then Trish doesn't even do anything about it. Everybody in that alliance was wrapped around Tony's finger. Good for you, Tony, but I think you may have screwed it up.
I hope things get shook up
They
next
will.
week because this is when it gets kind of like, ugh.
Why in the hell would Jeffra and Trish stick with Tony and Wu now?
I don't know.
I don't think they would. I think they're gonna go after Tasha and be like, hey girl, Tasha and Cass, maybe we're gonna see a female bond or something like, hey, this next week might be the week of let's get Tony out of here.
Yeah.
Spencer doesn't need Tony. Jeremiah doesn't need Tony. No one needs Tony anymore. Next week would be the week to get Tony out.
Yeah, if they're going to do it. Come on, you guys. Mixed it up. So we go to the immunity challenge.
Which were you proud of me, Jerry? What was I doing the whole time? If I can't be on the show, I'm going to pretend like I'm on the show.
Justin was closing his eyes and listening very intently to Jeff Probst say the color
Yes.
order.
Yes.
And he remembered.
All of it.
All of that.
Yes.
Although, I would say, you're well fed tonight and everything, but he did have a margarita before he got here. So it's just very similar to not eating for 25 days. Not.
All right, let me just see here if I can remember that last one.
No, don't do that.
Are you sure? All right.
It was a pretty cool challenge. It was just, a memory game. Just
Red,
Jeff kept saying,
green.
Oh, God. He's going to try.
Okay, sorry.
Jeff was just trying to make a point that not only is your body completely fatigued, but your mind is not altogether there either. Ready, set, go.
I love, we've seen this challenge many times, whether it's a color or a shape or a symbol. And it is, I like that Survivor, you test the body, you test endurance, you test the mind. I like that. Kind of a little boring to watch, but fun to play along with at home, actually. It's the classic memory game,
I love the memory game.
Back in the day, and they'd have, remember the field of all the things under,
yeah,
that sort of stuff. And
I feel like I'm playing
fun.
the memory game sometimes when I have a chef job somewhere in someone's kitchen and I don't know where everything's at, so I'll go through all the cupboards and drawers, and then I need something. I'm like, where was it at? Which cupboard? Which drawer?
This one.
It's like the adult version of the memory game.
Yeah.
These are things I do for fun. So, I just wrote down here that I absolutely love Tasha. I love her, love her. Once again, she steps up and she's like, I am playing the game of Survivor. I know what needs to be done. I'm not afraid to do it. I'm going to try to make the plays that need to be made. Yep. And then we go to the immunity challenge and she wins.
She needed that win.
She wins, which I was super stoked about, but I love the fact that it got down to LJ and Tasha, because as a past player, I can honestly say that this is like the biggest thing that happens over and over again. Like, you get together, you decide who you're going to vote off that night, tribal council after the challenge, and it never fails. The person that you're all gunning for either wins the challenge or gets really close and you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do
if I would have put blue instead of red? That's what he's thinking, If I would have put that blue tile instead of the red one.
LJ, I know it's going to take a little while to get over that, but it will become easier with time.
And when it's not easier, you can call Jerry.
And
she will console you.
It might be about a decade or so before you actually get over the fact that one tiny color could have saved your butt.
Jerry tonight said, what is his occupation? And I said, horse whisperer or horse trainer.
Horse trainer.
Oh, my God.
I said, that's sexy.
She said, oh, a cowboy.
Yeah. He's a cowboy. I had no idea.
He's a horse boy.
He's a... Yeah, very funny.
But it was I think it was really important for her to win tonight, because if she didn't win, then there could have been that, Tony could have fallen back on, hey, I could get her out this week, still keep LJ one more week, and still keep my boys, Jeremiah and Spencer, another week. But because he had this idea of using Jeremiah and Spencer, and there was no other option because Tasha was immune, I think it may have even pushed it like, yes, I have to do this week. I
could totally see that. Yeah, because once Tasha won, automatically they would have gone to the 3 and said, okay, which one of the 3 are we voting out? That is if the 6 wasn't breaking up. And thank God Tasha won. Yeah. And so now it was literally between Jeremiah and Spencer.
Which I give LJ the credit. Like, the textbook thing to do tonight was split the votes 3-3. And then if someone played an idol, the idol would be flushed out. And if they did, it's the 6 versus 3 textbook 3-3-3 split. Yeah. But it clearly crumbled.
I noticed tonight there was like a scene with, I think it was with Spencer and Tony, and Tony was washing everybody's clothes. Did you see it was all pink?
Yeah, why was the dye coming out?
I don't, is anybody wearing a pink swimsuit? Trish has a pink swimsuit. Oh.
And did you notice when they were on the boat, like her tan lines were all crazy?
Well, yeah, they're in the sun a lot at this point.
Yeah, but it didn't. It was like she was like really pale. Like it was weird.
It's because the swimsuits don't stay in their shape after 25 days of living, breathing, sleeping. Wearing them 24/7.
Yes.
But it was just bizarre. I just noticed that the water was pink.
That was weird.
I wrote a note. I was
pink
like,
water.
Why is the water pink? I don't know. So yeah, Trish basically told Tony, she was confused, the whole LJ thing. But then she says to the camera that she's like, I'm not gullible. He already got me once. So I like that she's not, she's playing with Tony, but she's kind of alluding to the fact that she's willing and able to go against Tony.
Yeah.
So hopefully
this was, I think, she's been so good at pinpointing when to make good moves and make some moves and reading people, and she misread Tony. And it's, again, the LJ misread Tony, Jeffer misread, they're all misreading Tony. So that shows that Tony is and has been, up to this point, a very good player.
Yeah, which I hope that now they see what kind of control he has. That was a mad scramble before Tribal Council. Those are, and I've been through several of those myself. There's something about,
and the fact that they also made Spencer feel so sure that he didn't even play his idol.
Oh, I was so worried. I want Spencer to stay in there.
He didn't play his idol, so he felt secure.
Yeah.
And it's Tony. Tony made him feel secure. I don't know if I'm giving too much credit to Tony this episode, but clearly it was all about Tony, but he's doing a good job.
It was all about Tony.
And it's like people are in pairs almost now, but not even. I think going into next week, we have, as LJ got blindsided, Jeremiah and Spencer are going to stick together. That's a bromance. And Tasha. There's 3. So you have these 3 solid. Then now you have Wu and Tony. Now you're going to have Trish and Jeffra confused and pissed off. Cass confused, maybe pissed off. Let's say you have...
I think Cass is just there.
Cass is just... She's going to do whatever. She's going to play the Sandra as long as it's not me. She's like, great. She's probably going to go to Tony and be like, dude, you made a Cass move.
I think she's just going to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah, she'll keep her mouth shut. But you have so many now fractions. I keep saying fractions.
There is fractions.
Factions or fractions?
There's fractures.
Fractures. Oh my gosh. I have a headache.
I know.
But it's going to be interesting. And I do see Spencer and Tasha doing well with this. They have been playing the game from the start on that Brains tribe. I think they're gonna keep going a little further.
I certainly hope so.
I don't see that 5 sticking together now. That 5 is not sticking together.
I don't think so either. No. I think tonight was the night that everything exploded, and that if they had kept the 6 tight, then it would have stayed together. Yeah. But I love right at the top of the tribal council, Jeff starts the conversation about loyalty. His whole thing is loyalty. Yeah. And what does it mean in this game? And I thought that was really interesting, that he went to all these different players and asked them, like LJ, in your line of work, do you experience loyalty that you could, refer to and understand and recognize? how he's gonna get loyalty in horse training's out. I'm still trying to figure that one out. I guess it's the horse and cowboy relationship.
You get very loyal to those horses.
Like, I'm not really sure.
And when they backstab you, you don't want to be on them.
Yeah. And then, I think it was almost kind of Jeff hinting to LJ, hey, dude, maybe you shouldn't believe in loyalty in this game. And then he goes to Tony, and he's like, what line are you working? And he says, construction. And we're all confused, and, I still don't get that.
Yeah.
Then he says, yeah, you might turn your back for a second, and someone could take your tool. Like, really? And then Cass gives her great,
Loved her answer.
Yeah, her answer about how Survivor.
I checked my personal life and at the door, and this is a game, and I loved that answer from Cass. That was great.
Is an awesome answer. And then Woo just says, I'm just going to go with the flow, man. And that's when I went, pawn.
Pawn.
That's not a pawn cloak.
That's a pawn.
That is a straight up pawn, man. I go with the flow. Yeah, he's not going to win. So then Spencer makes a point. He's like, look, even over there in the 6, somebody is on the bottom.
Yep.
And he was like, and if any of you are sitting over thinking that you're not on the bottom, you're probably the one that's on the bottom.
And then you scoop up Trish and Jeff for next week.
Yeah.
They're going to be feeling like they're on the bottom because Tony did not involve them in that plan.
They did not know. Yeah. I think that was a great, Spencer casting out like a line out there to them. Like, hey, dude.
It's going to be a good week next week. I think next week's going to be a lot of shuffling. I'm excited.
Yeah. So LJ gets voted out, and then we get to see a snippet from next week. Where this is what I wrote. Next week, Tony goes crazy and Woo goes coconuts.
Yeah. Do you think he gets injured and removed from the game? Would they show a preview for that? Maybe.
Yeah.
You think he's going to get removed?
I
think he breaks bones or something?
Okay, first of all, coconut trees
are high.
Coconuts do not grow low on a coconut tree. That was a very tall tree.
Yeah.
And for those of you out there that didn't get to see it, Woo fell out of a coconut tree in
shaking it.
Next week's episode.
I hope he doesn't get removed from the game because of that.
I hope not either.
I hate
but
that.
There's no way you can fall from that height. Like, I would say it was probably about 20 feet.
But he's a ninja.
It's true.
So
he is a ninja.
My money's on him staying.
I forgot he's a ninja. So Tony goes a little bit more crazy, and Woo falls out of a tree.
I'm excited. And next week, we didn't say Ryan Allen Creo is not here again tonight because he's still on Redemption Island. Next week, he's saying he will be back.
I'm not going to hold my breath. I hope he's here.
So that means Jerry won't be here. I want the 3 of us together again. Next week, we're going to do everything we can to get Ryan Allen Creo back in the studio.
Come back, Ryan. We miss you.
We miss you.
All right, you guys. Well, I guess that's it. Let's wrap this up.
Where can people find you, Jerry?
You can find me at Jerri Manthey on Twitter, and I'm also, my jewelry will be coming out soon. It should be in the next couple weeks. Jewelrybyjerry.com. Right now it's up maintenance, and all of my lovely jewelry here you can buy. All the things I'm wearing tonight.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And where can everybody find you, Justin?
Justin F. Walter on Twitter, and then Facebook.com/JustinWalterHost.
Cool beans.
Boom.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for joining in, and go on YouTube. Give us your comments, your love, your hate, whatever you feel like.
Jerry loves the hate.
No, I don't. I like love. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.